What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Guys, as always, I'd like to start off the video by inviting you to hit the like, also subscribing. If you are subscribed already, make sure you remain subscribed. YouTube is kind of funky. And also, if you want to contribute to the channel, you may do so through the Super Thanks feature on each and every one of my videos. Wonderful contraption it is. Super thanks. So thank everyone who's already done that, by the way. Thank you for doing any of those, whether you're liking, subscribing, or contributing, just watching. Thank you for being here. Now listen, guys, I want to talk about a comment that was left on one of my recent videos because it speaks to something that I always talk about, which is how Black people need to be more aware of our image and how we're being seen. You know, not just that we're being seen, but how we're being seen. This comment speaks to that because, believe it or not, there are people in this world who only know Black people by what they see in the movies and in books, and God help us, through rap videos, you know, TV shows, things like that. So I want to read this and then I want to talk about something else because it is what it is, guys, and I want you to think about this, okay? So let's look at this comment, and this is from Telexna. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Telexna says, "Greetings from Serbia, not Siberia, but Serbia, a country in Europe. Nikola Tesla is from there, I suppose." Let me make sure I'm sharing this, guys, by the way. I want you to see what it is that I'm seeing, okay? So anyway, let's see. He says here, "I'm very pleased and intrigued that you mentioned how the creators of Marvel's heroes, like Black Panther, were white, as well as those for Ironheart." And that is a fact. Black Panther, Ironheart, these things, Wakanda, all of it was created or conceived of by white people. You know, while we're fighting each other over it and questioning each other's blackness over it, we didn't create it, we don't own it, we don't make money off of it like that, okay? That's just a fact. And now there's a fuss where everyone's criticizing Ironheart is labeled a white racist or a MAGA supporter, while many in the Black community are called to defend their race by supporting Ironheart in this case. Now, before I share my opinion and ask my question, I'd like you to understand where I'm coming from. Serbia is a European country, relatively small, where nearly 99% of all the population is white. About 90% are Serbian Orthodox Christians, with some Catholics and a small percentage of Muslims. What I'm trying to say is that I have no experience living in a multicultural society with people of different skin colors and religions. Nearly 99% of the population is white. They have never in person seen somebody like me. If I show up in Serbia, they're going to be like, "Oh, Godzilla!" You know, ring the alarm. You know, I mean, it is what it is, guys. My question is, why doesn't the Black community, in this case in America, create its own authentic superheroes based on their own culture and history, whether African or American, instead of allowing themselves to be cast in leading roles of characters from white fairy tales or history? To me, this feels deeply insulting to the Black community worldwide. Keep in mind, guys, this is a world view that you're getting right here from Serbia, okay? So they want to know, why don't we create our own? Why are we not more honest in our telling, in our representation of ourselves? Why does the majority of the Black community fight so hard to take on roles originally written for white characters or based on historically white figures? Now, why the majority of the Black community do that, I don't know if it is the majority of the Black community, but it's definitely the majority of the Black acting community. And the answer is pretty simple, because they want to work. You know what I mean? So if these are the only roles that they're being offered or brought, then they got to eat, man. They're going to take it. You know, I would suggest that you go and watch the movie Hollywood Shuffle with Robert Townsend. It spoke about this, like over 30 years ago, how it's slim pickings for Black actors, Black performers. They could be the most intelligent, most well-read, most distinguished people, but they're being forced to act like they come from the hood, which is what I was talking about before. We're not allowed to represent ourselves outside of that view, that narrow view, the low expectations, right? What do they call it? The soft bigotry of low expectations. So anyway, if I were a leader of a Black community movement or NGO, I'm not sure what that means, I would sue Netflix over the series Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn was an English queen, yet in a Netflix series, she's played by Jodie Turner-Smith, who is black. Okay, Jodie Turner-Smith was in the ill-fated Acolyte show. You know, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. She was a witch. She was a witch. You see how they do black women? I don't want to digress here, but in the Acolyte, she was a witch. The black girl fell to evil. And then in Ironheart, she fell to evil. Black women, this is the way they see you. The only option you have is to portray an English white queen. Does that make any sense? Isn't that an insult to both the black and white communities? Yes, it is. Why does the black community allow white liberals to push this trend as the pinnacle of victory over racism? Well, it's simple, because they own that narrative. That's the reason why. If you have a narrative anything other than that, then black people might start to get empowered in their true identity, right? As the way it is now, all you can do, all they're telling black people is the best you can ever hope to be in life. All you can ever aspire to is to be white. And since you can't be white, you can at least try to take a white identity. You know what I mean? Try to act like you're white. Forget who you are. You have to do this, right? They don't want her to be playing African queen. Hell, they don't even want her to be playing a Caribbean queen. Shout out to Billy Ocean, Caribbean queen. Now we're sharing the same dream, and our hearts have beat as one. Come on, sing it with me. No more love on the run. Lose my cool when she steps in the room. Anyway, you guys know I can't help myself. But the point is, there it is. This is the reason why, Telexna, because they don't want us to have our own identity. There's too much power in that. So you're right. It looks utterly ridiculous for us to keep on doing this, for us to keep on accepting these race swaps. And to the black community, here you have it. Somebody from Serbia telling you, you look pretty damn stupid all across the globe doing this. You look much more powerful being who you are. Even if you don't write it, even if you don't create it, it's still more honest when you're just being who you are, right? Because I want to show you something else before I jump up out of here. I've talked about this before, but I want you guys to see this, okay? This is an old article from the Hollywood Reporter from 2018. And the headline says, Saudi Arabia breaks 35-year cinema ban with historic Black Panther screening. 35-year cinema ban, they broke it by screening the Black Panther from 2018. The film screened in a theater with no clear segregation in Riyadh. Okay, so in other words, men and women were allowed to sit together. That is progression for your ass, okay? It says here, Black Panther has become the first commercial film to be given a public screening in Saudi Arabia in 35 years, okay? Now let me scroll down here because I'm not gonna read the whole thing, right? But let's see. The return of cinema to Saudi Arabia marks an important moment in the kingdom's modern-day history and cultural life, as well as in the development of the kingdom's entertainment industry, said Awad Alawad, Saudi Minister of Culture and Information. Cinema has always played an important role in bringing cultures together in Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is ready to play its part. Now, the cinema in Riyadh, a specifically fitted symphony hall in the central King Abdullah Financial District, is the first of up to 100 multiplexes AMC plans to open in the coming years, and one of around 350 Saudi Arabia hopes will have opened by 2030, generating approximately $1 billion in annual box office spend. Okay, so that is historic. Okay, guys, for everyone who says, oh, it's just a movie and Black Panther wasn't all that and everything, I keep telling you, you can judge the movie. That's fair game. But Black Panther was absolutely historic in its impact and what it managed to do. All right, Saudi Arabia wanted to see, and they related to the story of a king and the burden of being responsible for his kingdom. All right, that resonated with them. I wonder what they thought of killing that character. I wonder what they thought of the movie that they were trying to build a whole economy around being discontinued. I wonder what they thought of Wakanda Forever. You know, it's disgraceful, guys. But you know, I've already made that point. The point is that Saudi Arabia it's not America, obviously. This is what they were seeing. They liked what they saw. Would you rather them see a movie like Black Panther? Would you rather them see King T'Challa? Or would you rather them see we be robbing, 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 we be robbing, robbing, robbing? Would you rather them see Queen Ramonda? Or would you rather them see Sexy Red? You know? But it seems like this is what we're more comfortable doing because Black people are the last people who understand this is more than just entertainment. We have to have a say in how we're being seen. We have to have the right to reject any bad representation of who we are, not just in the course of the story. Like I said, if the character is a criminal or whatever, it's fiction, you're right, that part of it, okay? But when it's out of balance, the way it's been for us as Black people, and I was just talking about this on a stream yesterday, and I was just saying that we have to catch up because we don't have the benefit of, and this was on Superfly 75's channel, by the way, Super Sly 75. Go check out his YouTube channel, great channel. And he had me on there. Maybe I'll leave the link down below in the pinned comment. But I made the point that back when we had white leading men, you know, Errol Flynn, John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, you know, all of the so-called greats, back then, Black men were still doing, okay, boss, yes, boss, yes, boss. We have always been challenged. This is the reason why we value Sidney Poitier and Denzel Washington and, you know, all of the ones that came after. It's very important, guys. You know, and Black women, of course, we need those positive images. You know, so that's the point that I'm talking about. Now, Telexna, I really do appreciate your comment. I hope you don't mind that I read your comment. It speaks for itself. So thank you for that. And thank you guys for listening. You can get in the comment section and tell me what you feel about what I'm saying. Do you understand? Does this make any sense at all? Do you see how important it is for Black people? Can you see how we have suffered and how we are suffering today from such a poor image? And as I said a million times, how other people see us is important, but what's even worse is how we see ourselves, what we accept upon ourselves. If we see a bunch of negative affirmation and we think somehow that's just being Black, man, you know, me being ignorant and belligerent and fighting and talking broken English and not having any aspirations to be better is just Black. That's good. I want my kids to be the same way. No, we're supposed to lift ourselves. But anyway, I'm getting into the preachy thing again. Get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about all of this. As always, you can like, you can share, and you can subscribe. Thank you guys once again. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.